Hello and welcome to the United Stand. CSKA Moscow versus Manchester United in the group stage of the Champions League. This is your United Stand preview, and there are surprising omissions from the Manchester United squad out in Russia. An injury midfield crisis, one that some of you will have foreseen, but some of us will be very disappointed by the lack of options and thinking, could this great start to the season, how frustrating it would be. It's always around September, October time, probably for the last 5 or 6 years, to be fair. It happened in the last couple of years with Sir Alex as well. We pick up quite a few injuries around this time of year, and it can stunt whatever it is we're trying to grow, and we are doing fantastically well at the moment. It would be so frustrating if our form starts to taper away because of injuries yet again. So what are those key injuries? And effectively, it comes down to the centre midfield positions. We knew Fellaini had picked up an injury. We discussed it last night. He will not play in the Crystal Palace game, according to Jose Mourinho's press conference today. He expects him to not be out for too long, back after the international break, but will miss the Crystal Palace game and CSKA Moscow. Michael Carrick is injured. I mean, I was surprised when Michael Carrick was kept on for another year, but with losing Rooney and keeping that experience in the dressing room was very important. But Michael Carrick, all he's done is played 90 minutes against Burton Albion, and now he's not available. So that's disappointing. We already knew we were missing Pogba. So effectively, for the next 2 games, and we are in Russia, and then we're back playing Saturday afternoon, we're going to have to use Matic and Herrera. And Matic is carrying a little bit of a knock himself. So worst case scenario, Matic gets injured tomorrow, and then you maybe drop points against Palace at the weekend because we haven't got enough squad players in the midfield. But we'll come back to that in a minute. Twansibi's back fit again, and Twansibi was very impressive in the midfield in the last few games of last season. He was trusted away to Spurs and Arsenal, so why would you not trust him again? And I'd certainly trust Twansibi there over McTominay. However, how do I think we'll line up tomorrow? Because we also don't have Phil Jones. He's been left in Manchester, I believe, but certainly isn't part of the squad. No Antonio Valencia either. So Mourinho will be making changes, and I would expect De Gea to play. This is a big game against CSKA Moscow. We can't afford to go and lose it, really. Well, we can because it's the early stages, but we don't want to go and lose it. A draw would be a decent performance, a decent result, but why not go and win? Why not go and get more of that confidence that we know is so important for United at the moment? So my prediction for the team will be De Gea in goal. I think right back Young will move to there. Lindelof and Smalling as centre backs with Daley Blind at left back. No Luke Shaw part of the squad either. So I think that'll be the back 4. Matic and Herrera as the 2. I think Mkhitaryan will play ahead of them as the number 10, which I'll come back to in a minute because I've mentioned Griezmann in the title for a reason. I think it'll be Martial on the left. I think Lingard will play on the right, and I think it will be Rashford up front with Lukaku on the bench. That's the way I think we'll line up, and I think Martial's got to start tomorrow. Not playing at the weekend was a mistake, but we still got away with it. Martial needs some game time, and Crystal Palace at the weekend, we don't want to pick any injuries up. So why is Griezmann in the title, I hear you ask? Griezmann's in the title because Mkhitaryan, I feel, and I think a few United fans at the moment feel, that he's stat padding. He is stat padding. He's in the last 10 minutes of games, he's producing brilliance, whether it's assists or goals himself. But in the first 70 to 80 minutes of the game, it's not been that good. And certainly over the last couple of games, it's not been that good. It wasn't good in the away game against Stoke, and it wasn't good against Southampton at the weekend. Now, Mkhitaryan can do it. Of course he can. I remember him at Dortmund. He's shown his glimpse of it, but he was spoken about a few weeks ago. He himself has admitted it. Mourinho has said he needs to do it in the bigger games. He's going missing. He's getting his head down. He's dribbling. He's not looking around. He's missing easy passes. He needs to relax. Now, he's got the backing of Mourinho this season, Mkhitaryan. Last season, we were like, why is he not playing Mkhitaryan? Now, why isn't he playing him? This year, some people are saying, why does he keep playing Mkhitaryan? He has the backing of Mourinho, and I think he is going to have that backing for a while. But he needs to find a little bit more consistency, because when you're playing the midfield 2 of whether it's Pogba and Matic and Fellaini, or Matic and Herrera, which we think we're going to see over the next couple of games, you're playing a midfield 2. Most teams will play a midfield 3. We've done fantastically well with that midfield 2, but at the weekend against Southampton and for large parts of the game against Everton, we were getting a bit overrun in the midfield. So Mkhitaryan's position is a luxury position, because actually we could take Mkhitaryan out of the team or put him on the right and drop Mata, bring Herrera in and play a midfield 3, match the opposition, which we tried to do in the last half an hour of the Southampton game, and you're not going to get everyone in the midfield. So at the moment, Mkhitaryan's in a luxury position, and he needs to give more, because he's never going to give us that midfield 3, so he's got to give us more in that number 10 position. And this is why I've said in the title, Mourinho is missing Griezmann, because if you take Mkhitaryan out of that team and you put Antoine Griezmann in that number 10 position where Mkhitaryan's playing, and with a big number 7 on his back, imagine what we would do. That's Manchester United, Mourinho. If we'd got Griezmann this summer, and he was that close, if that ban hadn't happened and he hadn't had a pang of morality, Griezmann would be a United player. This is unprecedented what we're doing. Keeping our most iconic shirt free from the start of the season to the end of the season only means one thing, that somebody's coming into that shirt, because you could give it to somebody else. You would not keep that shirt empty for that long. I understand why it was left empty from January when we got rid of Memphis, but to keep that empty is a massive sign that Griezmann was going to have it. And I think if he did have Griezmann in that position as a number 10, imagine what we'd be doing. Griezmann behind Lukaku, with 2 midfielders, with people either side of him, with the shot he's got on him, with the intricacy and the drive that he has, and the ability to dribble. I think Griezmann was absolutely fit that position like a glove. We haven't got him. I don't want to dwell on it too much because we haven't got him, but that position, I think Mkhitaryan has fallen into it because it was made for Griezmann by Mourinho. And if we had him in that position, I think it would be absolutely curtains for most teams in the Premier League. But we haven't got him, so Mkhitaryan's got to do more. I think he's trying too hard. I mean, there was times in the Southampton game where he's putting his head down, he's running down an alley. Get your head up, relax. Mourinho backs you. That is very, very obvious. You've got the talent. You've shown us that this season in the last 15 to 20 minutes of some games. He just needs to settle down, calm down. I'd almost say look at what Anthony Martial does when he comes on, because Martial last season was forcing it. He was trying to force force situations. This year, what's really impressed me is he will run with it sometimes, but most of the time, if it's not on, he'll keep the ball and rotate it and move, pass and move, pass and move. And I think Mkhitaryan just needs to do a little bit more of that, because he's got the talent and we've got to back him, because we ain't getting anybody else this season. So Mkhitaryan he's in such an important position as well, because it is a luxury position. We could just go midfield 3, but that number 10 helps the team. Lukaku creates that space for a number 10, and Mkhitaryan just needs to go up a level for me. What do I think the score will be tomorrow? I think much like Liverpool, Dan Butterworth just said that Liverpool had drawn. I think United will draw tomorrow, and I think that's a good result for us, because I think we'll win all our home games, a couple of draws in the away games, and we'll go through. But we've got more than enough to beat them. I just got a funny feeling it might be quite a tight game. And to be honest, I'd take a draw tomorrow as long as we beat Palace at the weekend anyway. So defensively, we need to be strong. People say that Mourinho doesn't like Lindelof, but actually there's a good chance Lindelof might play tomorrow, unless he goes with Bailly and Smalling, which he might do. But he might also go with a back 3. He might go 5-3-2. He might go Bailly, Smalling, Lindelof, Young, Blind as the fullbacks. Remember, Darmian's part of the squad as well. I hope he doesn't play. He's just bang out of form at the moment. And he might put 2 up front and have 3 in the midfield. Herrera's massive. I don't understand what Herrera's done wrong. I don't understand it. There are quite a few United fans, if you look on social media or even in the comments on the United stand, saying Herrera's rubbish, I'd rather Fellaini play. I don't understand what Herrera's done. Have people forgotten what he did against Chelsea? I mean, he's still got Hazard in his pocket. Have people forgotten that he was our player of the year last year? So consistent. One of the best midfielders in the league. And now people want Fellaini to start over him. Now, I understand that form, if he's not in form, but he seems to be he's taking a lot of pelters, Herrera, and I don't understand it. I'm so excited. And now, I must clarify, I wasn't the person who said I was happy that Fellaini was injured or wished he got injured. That wasn't me, and I've taken a few pelters myself today. It was somebody who called in. It wasn't me who said it. I wouldn't wish injury on anybody. But the situation is there now. I've not wished it, but it is there now. And I'm hoping that we're going to see Herrera next to Matic for the next 2 games. And I'm hoping by 5 o'clock on Saturday, we will get Herrera back. And when Herrera's back, we won't have to have this midfield 2 of Fellaini and Matic while Pogba's out. We'll have Herrera in there. Because Herrera at his best, like he was last year, with Matic, is the best midfield two in the Premier League until Pogba comes back, and I firmly believe that. So I'm excited, and Herrera's got to he's got to take that opportunity though. He's got to take it. I don't know whether some people are thinking Herrera's stalling on a contract, so we're losing our love for him. Fellaini's stalling on a contract. Are people losing their love for him? Fellaini's stalling on a contract at the moment. Rightly or wrongly, Mourinho is desperate to get Fellaini on a new contract. He can go for free in January. It's a bit like Alexis Sanchez. And Fellaini is humming and ahhing because he wants a bit more money. Ridiculous situation. But that's what happens. Mourinho loves Fellaini, and he started the season quite well. But it's unfair to say, oh, Herrera won't sign a contract. He's disloyal. Fellaini's not signing a contract at the moment. That's not the problem. I think Herrera's just out of form at the moment, and we need it. We need him to get back. I think him and Mkhitaryan tomorrow need to have a good game. Mkhitaryan needs to do better. He does need to do better. He's had a decent start, and and I think a lot of United fans are the same. We're not. The wool's not being pulled over our eyes by stats. In fact, I've just watched Real Madrid beat Dortmund, and Ronaldo was pretty poor again, but he scored two goals, and the third goal was very good. But as a striker, you can hide behind stats more if you're putting the ball in the back of the net. Mkhitaryan needs to do a little bit more for me. Sophie Richards, how do I feel about Dybala, Mark? She says, how do you feel about Dybala, Mark? I think he's a fantastic player. I think he could play that role as well. It's snowing in Russia, says Shiva. Can't wait. Can't wait for the game. Really looking forward to it. We will be live tomorrow night at 7:15 with the team news right the way through till full time with the watch along. So join us tomorrow night for that. I love, I really enjoyed watching Dortmund tonight. Did a watch along on That's Football if anybody was there with me. Thanks for that. But it's great that United are just back in the Champions League, and it's even better that we're actually playing well at the moment. I can't see us losing, and we don't want to lose for obvious reasons, but we don't want to lose because we want to keep that confidence going into another international break. We're doing fantastically well at the moment. I'm very conscious that I don't want injuries to ruin it, and we spoke about this in the summer, didn't we? We said that actually, instead of talking about fullbacks and everything, what if we get a couple of injuries in the midfield? Where's the depth? And we've got that now. We've lost Fellaini, Pogba and Carrick, and we've basically got Matic and Herrera left. That's it. I mean, you can play McTominay there. I don't trust him. You can play Twansibi there. I trust him. But we probably should have got somebody else. We probably should have gone and got somebody else. But it is what it is, and we've got to deal with it. But I'm not critical of it. I'm not saying, Mourinho couldn't get the winger he wanted, so he was never going to get another midfielder, so you can't blame Mourinho. But I just don't want this great season that we've started off to fall away because of injuries, because that would be very, very disappointing. And we don't want that to happen. It just wouldn't be very nice, would it? Let's have a look at some of your comments. Herrera will start tomorrow. He's what we need in the middle right now. Fight and passion. That's from Sophie. I'm very excited to see Herrera tomorrow, and I really want Mkhitaryan to step it up. What's up with Carrick, says Dan Butterworth. I don't know. I mean, Carrick, I love Michael Carrick. He's what Matic is at the moment. Carrick was that for a decade at United. Just ran the midfield very intelligently. But over the last couple of years, he started to pick up injuries that he'd never done through his whole career, really. And that is age catching up with him. And he is 36, I think, now. And he's become very injury prone in the last 2 years, Carrick. And you can't rely on him. We've not even used him this season. He's hardly been used. And then when we actually need him, he's out injured. So it's a shame. I really like Carrick, and I think he's got a lot to offer. But he is very injury prone now, and then if you're injury prone, what do you offer? Obnoxious Otter is excited to see United play, and Modern Mexican, I don't know why, he says, I'd rather lose the league than have Fellaini. I'd never go that far. Live comments box was just stuck for ages, and I've only just noticed that. Sorry about that, everybody. Shame the owners didn't see the need to get a couple more midfielders, says Sev, Sally, Devil Red, Mitchell. Yeah, I thought you look at what Pep had and the support he had. I'll always say it, but we've just got to get on with it now. I don't feel that Mourinho was supported 100% by the owners. We brought 3 players in. I think we needed 5. We needed another fullback. I mean, that's another great point, because the reason Valencia keeps getting left at home for cup games is because he's carrying an injury. It was the same one he had from January to the end of the season. It's nothing to do with fatigue or anything like that. He's carrying an injury. So that's why he's missing games. Why did we not get... Well, we wanted a fullback, didn't we? We were actually linked to Aurier. We've got no backup for Valencia. I mean, Ashley Young's having to switch sides at the moment. If Ashley Young gets injured, we're in trouble, because he's doing both jobs really, really well. Darmian... What is Darmian? Darmian's a defensive right back. He's not what Valencia is. So I think we needed a fullback. We definitely needed a wide player who can put a cross in, and I think we needed another midfielder as well. But Mourinho didn't get backed. We've just got to get on with it. And people will be saying, "Oh, well, he did get backed," but you know what I mean. We needed 5 players to come in this summer to strengthen that squad, and that's why Mourinho has said, "I'll need another summer to get us where we are," because he didn't get what he needed last summer. And it'll be even harder next year with the World Cup. But we've started really, really well. And we can achieve things this year. But I'm just worried about injuries. Because injuries, they're nobody's fault. Well, sometimes they can be. But they're bad luck for fans. And they're bad luck for our manager. And I really hope that it doesn't get any worse. I suppose the positive is that Pogba will not be going with France for 2 weeks. And Fellaini won't go with Belgium, so you'd expect Fellaini will definitely be back after the international break. Carrick doesn't play international football anymore. Herrera, I don't think will get picked for Spain. So get this game out of the way tomorrow. Beat Palace at the weekend. 2 weeks recuperation, and then we've got Liverpool, haven't we? So I don't want this bubble to burst, because we're doing very, very well at the moment, and you don't want things that are nothing to do with form destroying that. Kenneth Hoagland says, "What do you think of McTominay?" I don't know how to spell that right. I know what you mean. People think, look, if I'd love McTominay to be a top player for Manchester United, but the reality is, if you speak to people who know anything about the youth setup, he wasn't somebody that they would have picked to come through. That doesn't mean he won't make it, by the way, but he wasn't. There's better players. But from what I've seen of him, I don't see a top midfielder in McTominay. I don't see the potential to be a top midfielder by McTominay. I think he could be as good as Fellaini, so maybe he would have a future at United, because he's that sort of player. He's slow, but he's tall. He can break the play up, and Mourinho loves that sort of player. So never say never. Mourinho obviously sees something in him he likes, and he loves those big powerhouse midfielders like Matic and Fellaini and Pogba. So maybe, but for me, I think McTominay's going to be a Championship player. I don't think he's a Premier League player, but I hope I'm proved wrong. Can we challenge for the Champions League? Says Jacques Aranze. I think it's very difficult because of the squad. For me, it's about the league. I want to win the league this year, and the Champions League is second. I'd still take the Premier League over the Champions League, because the Premier League is as Sir Alex Ferguson's always said, that is the standard, and everything else is a nice addition. So I want to win the Premier League. I think we can win the Premier League, but I think we've got to focus on the Premier League. We certainly haven't got the squad next March to be still in the FA Cup, going for the Premier League and the Champions League. We haven't got enough. We will have injuries through this season, and we're moaning at the moment because Pogba's out and Fellaini's out and Carrick's out. But what about when Bailly's out? What about if Valencia does get injured? It's not just the fact that Pogba's out that we should be worried about. Lukaku, a lot of people mention him. It's any position really. I mean, we'd be very unfortunate to lose De Gea, but there are a number of positions in that squad that if certain players get injured, the backup isn't as good, and then if that's out of form or gets injured, we've got nothing else. So Lukaku, Pogba obviously, Matic, Bailly, Valencia, Rashford, Martial, even a Mkhitaryan, because we haven't really got any other number 10s. There's a number of positions in that team that if we pick up injuries, we're weakened. So I don't. Champions League have always said quarter-final, let's see what happens. I think we're going to have to really knock the FA Cup on the head if we want to go for the Premier League, but we'll see. At the moment, reach for the stars and we might grab a few, because it's very early days. What we've got to do is just take it game to game. But it's all about the league for me this season. It's all about the league. thanks everybody for watching. A very quick whirlwind preview for the CSKA Moscow versus Manchester United game. We will be live with you tomorrow night at 7:15 with the team news. Intrigued to see what it is, but Herrera, really excited to see him. Mkhitaryan needs to step up the plate. He needs to step up to the plate. I know some people are a bit blinded by his stats. Some people are blinded by affection towards him. I like Mkhitaryan, but he's got to do more. And I think he's in such an important position. It'd be hypocritical of me to say just because I like Mkhitaryan, oh, it's fine. Rooney got a lot of stick from me as the number 10 last couple of years because I said, and I repeat it, the number 10 is so important. It's the player who gets the ball from the midfield and feeds the attackers. And if they are failing at any of that, then it ruins the team. And Mkhitaryan, for the first 70 minutes again on Saturday, he was getting a lot of the ball, but he wasn't finding the right final ball. He's capable, more capable than Rooney. He just needs to get into that groove. And I think at the moment he's trying too hard. He just needs to relax. He's got the ability, relax, and I think it'll be fine. Back tomorrow night at 7:15 with the watch along. Join us for that. Really going to enjoy it. CSKA Moscow. Might be a bit of snow. But yeah, really looking forward to it. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the United Stand if you're new. Thanks everyone on the live comments again. Really enjoyed that. And have a good night. And I'll speak to you all tomorrow. And oh, drop a like actually, because I've just realised you should now be able to watch the United Stand in ultra high definition 1280. I've moved it up. I think. Yes, let me just check. No, you can't. I don't know why it was doing it on the other one and not on this. That's football. You could watch it in 1280. That's weird. Anyway, thanks everyone. Make sure you drop a like and I'll speak to you all tomorrow.